Hey, welcome everybody. March 4th, 2021 here. Thought I'd do a short little Soapbox Sunday today, just catch you up on a few topics and have a little fun. Let's dive in. I thought I'd share this with you guys. I made a post yesterday online in a few forums on Facebook and whatnot. This one I posted to Tube Rollers and Tube Amps, and it's a group with about 13,000 members. Yeah, they kind of like to talk tube gear. Anyway, this was the post I made. I put, for those who believe SET amps aren't for you, 2.5 watts driving 101 dB speakers, i.e. some very efficient speakers, is the same as 100 watts driving your traditional 85 dB sensitivity speakers. So it just shows you the power, I use that word, that the efficiency of your speakers can play in listening levels. And I figured all of this up using a calculator at 10 feet away from the speakers, and so on and so forth. But some of the comments are, hey, 101 dB speakers equals 1940s refrigerator size. 85 dB equals slim, attractive towers. Hey, beauty's in the eye of the beholder here, right? But what went on to ensue here was just a ton of people posting their great big refrigerator size speakers and talking about how they loved their single-ended triode amplifiers along with these efficient speakers. So just thought you guys would get a kick out of that. It's some of the fun I have hanging out on these forums. Sometimes I just lurk, and sometimes I have fun throwing stuff like this out there for comments. So all right, next topic. Thought I'd do a quick update on bluglow.club, our very own BlueGlow viewers forum, our place to hang out. I officially titled it Vintage Audio Enthusiast and Solder Slinger Hangout. Anyways, I made a video the other day announcing it. It is a forum dedicated for our viewers to ask questions of each other and get feedback and comments and share your projects and whatnot. It's all about the BlueGlow community here, trying to make it a safe place for everybody. If I want new people to be able to ask questions and not feel intimidated about asking these questions, if that makes sense. Hey, we've had 97 different or new topics posted in 1 week now. So that's a lot of content and a lot of interaction and a lot of posts in those topics. Hundreds of posts already, and we got about 350, 400 people that have signed up for it thus far. I know we had some problems early on with the sign up and people getting their email authentication. I think we've worked through most of that. If you're having any problems, just let us know. But so far, it has been going absolutely phenomenal. Just lots and lots of great posts. I've been reading all the new user introductions. Thank you guys for sharing info about yourself and just having a lot of fun out here with it. So come join if you haven't already. And if you have, thank you for joining and be a part of the community. All right, I thought I'd have a tip for you guys that are interested in one of these MojoTone chassis stands here. I'm loving it, except for I found a flaw in it. And what it is when you loosen these little bolts right here, and then you want to slide, and let me move this amp off of it real quick to give you a feel for it. When you loosen these two, the little flat nuts on the bottom, they touch the desktop. So when you try to slide this thing, you're having to drag it along the desktop underneath. And I found that it kept getting bound up all the time. So I did something super simple here, and let me get my stuff out of the way. Maybe you can see it here on the bottom now. I added in 6 pieces of felt. That's thick felt, and I'll show you what I use here in a minute. But what it does is it gives enough room then for these things to be able to slide and not touch the desktop, which makes it super easy then to do this. Without the felt on there, this thing was just constantly kind of binding up and you were having to yank it and whatnot. Now it's super easy to slide. You just pull up on one of these and then tighten them down, and it'll lock in place and you can put your amp right in there. So super simple little fix there. Let me show you what I use. Okay, these are what I use. I got these at like a Lowe's Hardware years ago, but it's just titled felt bars, and they're made to go on the bottom of chair legs and whatnot. And they're just little square bars about this big, and I use 6 of them on the bottom of this. And they're about 3/16 of an inch thick, so good and thick enough to kind of hold this down. You can still, it still lets you move it around. If you stick rubber feet on the bottom of these, it'll get bound up and the rubber feet will roll off. I've always enjoyed using felt feet for stuff like this. Keeps it off the surface, keeps from scratching the surface, and at the same time lets you still move it around some. One other thing I did. So right here in the middle, Mojo had stuck a big metal emblem right here, and you can see the 2 screws that held it down. Well, that's great if every amp you work on is a guitar amp that's 18 inches wide, but I was working the other day on the little 6BQ5 amp, and I had to get them close together like this, and that emblem was actually getting in my way, so I actually removed it so that I've got full use and range of this unit here. But just a few tips for you guys that have bought one of these, and if not, you can get these from MojoTone. They're based out here near me in Raleigh, North Carolina. These things are not a lot of money, and they're an amazing little device. Thought I'd share a crazy crossover story with you. So this crossover here, which I picked up on eBay, a pair of these. Not going to share what they go to yet. You'll see that story here a little further down the road this year. Anyway, I bought these way back in October of last year from a guy in Germany. And he shipped them right away via DHL. They should have been here to me in the U.S. theoretically within about 2 weeks. So this was like mid-October last year. So November comes, still no package from DHL. December comes along, still no package from DHL. January comes along, still no package from DHL. And when we look at the tracking, it just shows it left Germany and it's kind of in a void, nowhere in between. So I basically went back to the guy and, on eBay, and he said, maybe these things are lost, whatnot. So he basically refunded me my money through eBay, and, kind of closed out the case at that point. And so I was thinking, well, heck, where am I? I'm going to have to build a crossover myself. I did not want to build this. Pretty sophisticated, pretty heavy duty crossover. So, I start talking to some friends about what I'm going to do to replace the crossover. And then last week, I'm sitting at the house one day, the doorbell rings, ding dong, and lo and behold, DHL hands me a big box, and I bring it inside, I open it up, sure enough, inside, I've got a great big crossover, 2 of them, and so I reached back out to the guy. Honestly, I could have been a little seedy and could have just kept his money, kept the items. Matter of fact, I reached out to eBay and said, hey, eBay, how do I handle this? You guys have already closed the case. Guys already given me my money back. And they basically said, hey, the best thing you can do is get this guy to send you a PayPal invoice. So I did. I reached out to him. He sent me a PayPal invoice. I paid him for him because, he had a good bit of work and labor and parts in this. I mean, these are custom wound transformers and chokes and whatnot, and there's a couple $100 worth of parts here alone. But at any rate, got them paid for. But 4 months later, so sometimes don't give up on the mail system or the carriers. It just might take a while there. Thought I'd share that with you. Virtual show and tell, our last topic for today. So here's how I got this idea. I was watching on YouTube last week a ham radio club's monthly meeting. And what they did is during the meeting, a couple individuals did some show and tell. They kind of went around and, one individual held up a Morse code key and talked about it a little bit. Somebody else held up something else, a microphone. They talked about it a little bit. And they just kind of went around, doing a little bit of virtual show and tell. And it got me thinking, that's pretty cool, just to sit around one evening with nothing else to do and join a virtual club meeting and do a little show and tell. So I thought, well, why can't the Blue Glow community here do a virtual show and tell. So I've made a post out here. If you're back on the main page of our Blue Glow Electronics forum and you scroll down to future video ideas, then there's one here called virtual show and tell. Here's a forum, and I've only had a few people read this and reply, but I thought I'd mention it and maybe you guys go check it out. Here are the requirements that would be associated if you did decide to join our virtual show and tell. It would be you must be willing to participate on camera. Got to be able to turn your camera on and interact with us and then show your item on camera. I did make a note here. I don't have the time to help people figure out how to get their camera going, so they'd have to do that on their own. You must be willing to show your item and explain it a little bit. You must be open to letting me moderate the flow of the meeting and time box individuals. So you may get 3 minutes to talk about your item or whatnot, and then we'll have a little discussion and Q&A, and then we'll roll on to the next item. But basically to keep any one or two people from, consuming a lot of the time and others not getting any time. And you must be willing to be friendly and supportive of what others share. So I put here, if you're interested in this, post down below. So I'm gonna after I get some more people responding to this and interested, I will post the date of when we're going to do it, and then I can send invites out to people. And we're going to do a virtual show and tell. Probably do it on maybe a Wednesday or Thursday evening or something like that. I don't know. We'll pick a time. But I think it would just be fun to get to show some stuff off. I've got a lot of things around here I'd love to show you guys. So I just think it would be fun to hang out with, maybe 20, 30, 40 of you guys and our gals and go around the room and show off some items for an hour or two. All right, with that, we're going to call it a wraps for today. Thanks for watching, everybody, and stay tuned. We'll keep bringing you more videos. Probably will not get to the next episode in the oscilloscope video this weekend. I've got a lot going on, but hopefully next weekend I'll get back to that. Thanks, everybody.